Hello, PsyQ community, and welcome to today's webinar, Technology Update, Impacts on Treatment. Thank you for joining us today. I am Chip Meyer, a Senior Medical Science Liaison for Otsuka Pharmaceutical Development and Commercialization Incorporated. I'll be serving as the moderator for today's exciting discussion featuring Dr. John Poikinen. Dr. Poikinen is a consultant, educator, pharmacist, and clinical informatics professional and serves as Director of Clinical Informatics at Avana Health. Dr. Poikinen spent several years as pharmacy director and clinical informatics director positions at leading medical centers, part of a career dedicated to increasing the quality of healthcare and improving medication therapy. Pursuing those goals has taken him from clinical pharmacy positions to multiple startups and academia. He is an adjunct professor in the bioinformatics program at Massachusetts College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences in Boston, Massachusetts. He earned his Doctor of Pharmacy from Nova Southeastern University. And as I mentioned previously, I'm Dr. Chip Meyer, a Senior Medical Science Liaison with Otsuka Pharmaceutical Development and Commercialization Incorporated. Today's presentation is sponsored by Otsuka Pharmaceutical Development and Commercialization Incorporated, a committed supporter of the mental health treatment community. Speakers are paid consultants to OPDC. The information provided during this program is intended for your educational benefit only. No CME or CEU credits are offered. It is not intended as, nor as a substitute for medical care or advice, or professional diagnosis. Users seeking medical advice should consult with their physician or other healthcare professional. While conducting this discussion, our speakers aim to provide you with information that is accurate, not misleading, scientifically rigorous, and which does not promote Otsuka products. You may notice that all attendees have been muted. We are recording today's events, and muting the phone lines assures the highest quality of sound. We will, however, hold a brief question and answer session at the end of this presentation. To participate in this, we encourage you to submit your questions via the question box on the GoToWebinar panel at any time during the presentation. Before we begin our formal presentation, I'd like to take a moment to review our objectives. Today, we will identify the phases of the Gartner Hype Cycle. We will review the differences between drug development approval and digital health approval through the FDA, outline the process of evaluating the evidence of technology's impact on individual care. And lastly, we'll evaluate the impact of technology on the quadruple aim. And so I'll now turn it over to Dr. Poikinen.
Hi, thanks, Chip. I appreciate it, and I appreciate the opportunity to share some things. You know, over the last 25, 30 years, I've been in the digital health or clinical decision support space, and I've seen a lot of products come and go, and I've seen some good products succeed and not succeed, and vice versa. And so I wanted to present primarily three concepts here, and we just went over the objectives that we'll present. But taken together will give you some tools to be able to fish for the real evidence of what product may help you in your provision of care. I'm not going to single out any products as we've discussed, but I want to give you some tools beyond some of the obvious things. So, you know, as we can see from just a few headlines I've grabbed from a couple of weeks, there is a lot of lay press and professional press going on in terms of how products are being evaluated, who evaluates them, and what exactly is evidence-based care. And so I want to walk you through where products come from, how evidence is being evaluated, and lastly, how standards are emerging, how we can look at these products more closely and how they're going to impact your care. I think it's instructive to at least review the quadruple aim, you know, and that is better patient experience, better health and lower cost, and fourthly, the better experience for providing that care. As we'll see, the FDA is focused on better health, but they do not get involved in lower cost patient experience and providing the better experience of providing that care. And so in the digital health space, in the technology space, we have to go beyond that and look at that. Let's dive into where the products are coming from, right? And so this is a general, well-known concept of the Gardner hype curve, but this is technology in general, and I think it's very instructive for the digital health space to look at where a product is on its hype curve, right? So we have a technology trigger, lots of interest, smart people generating first generation products, great hoopla going, heightening the peak of inflated expectations. Then reality starts to set in, right? And this trough of disillusionment starts to happen. And that is, with iteration, typically a second generation product, and some services emerge out of that. And then slowly then it's taking a lot more time to go up the slope of enlightenment to where its true value is. And typically a third generation product emerges, and that's where it starts to get clear adoption. So if we look at the current vaccine development, where it is along the hype curve, I think it's instructive to relate to this curve, not only for medications, but for technology. So let's take a look at where we are in vaccine development. As you can see, there's been great excitement around vaccines. And as things go through the phases of FDA approval, it progresses down the trough of disillusionment and then slowly increases to the slope of enlightenment, where a few vaccines are becoming safe and effective, but we haven't quite reached that process yet, and that's sort of where we are in the pandemic and vaccine approval. In a really interesting blog posting by a venture capitalist, he used this same concept in technology and in the digital health space. And so a lot of brilliant people start off wanting to revolutionize healthcare, and they go through this. A number of companies have gone through this process. So using telehealth as an example, it started off that maybe we can build a better experience for patients by building a new electronic medical record. Well, maybe we need to apply some technology like telehealth to it. And given that healthcare is still a fee for service by and large, they ran into problems because people got paid for being face-to-face, and telehealth was not something that was cost-effective for people the way reimbursement was. So they said, okay, let's start with self-insured employers. And then sort of reality sets in. People aren't used to telehealth. They weren't doing it well. They weren't sure how to set it up. Then came along some very focused telehealth applications around diabetes care or around, accountable care organizations. And still, it was not catching on pre-COVID. Post-COVID sent it into hyperspace. But even now, a lot of the telehealth companies are really service organizations versus pure technology plays. They're helping organizations guide through the telehealth and increase outcomes.